Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my vlog. The first one in a minute, I know. You will not be getting my normal comfy, cozy type of vlog here. We're just gonna be chatting about books because I've mentioned this before, but I live in an apartment building and they put up this big building right next to my building and now I barely have any light. I had to purchase a ring light. I will show you what it looks like without this ring light on. I'm pretty much in the dark now, so this is what you would get for vlogs. And it doesn't matter what time I try to film, we just don't get light in here anymore. We only get a little bit of sunlight for like an hour when the sun is between the two buildings, and that's it. So like I said, I have to do the set up the camera, put on the ring light, those type of vlogs now. I do plan to move in the future, but until then, you just got me chatting about some books. Hopefully that's fine with you. That's what you came here for. So anyway, I thought it would be fun to try a chapter of the books that my daughter picked out for me for my April TBR. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it below. So far, I have already read most of Companions of the Night. Believe it or not, yes. She already feels like she has a winner because I haven't DNF'd. Because I haven't DNF'd this and I have been enjoying it, I guess. I'll talk about this in a minute because I want to tell you my thoughts so far and then I'm going to finish it for you and wrap it up. And then I'm going to try a chapter of the A Wizard of Earthsea. I do now know that Ursula K. Le Guin, I don't know if that's how you say her name, but she is a pioneer in the fantasy genre. So I do know that now. And again, I'm going to try a chapter of this. Now, all of these I'm going to read, but of course, if I try a chapter, I probably will give it one more if I'm not that interested. And I'll decide if I'm going to DNF, but I still will try it and let you know my thoughts. And then of course, we also have Helldivers. This one is the sci-fi horror one. So this one had me the most intrigued besides this one. So I can't wait to try a chapter of this and see what we're working with. And then lastly, we have the thriller, A Flicker in the Dark. This is the one I probably thought I would enjoy the most. So curious to see. So snuggle up. Let's get comfy cozy. I got on my comfy sweats. Yeah, comfy socks. Got my coffee, of course. And as I said, let's talk about Companions of the Night and get back to reading this. Nice and warm. Okay, I always have my trusty reading journal with me. I need to do my setup for April. I'm always a little bit late, which is why I won't be doing any reading journal videos or anything because I just do what I want and I don't really keep up with it. But my March one I thought was really cute. Yes, focus. So I do have my notes for Companions of the Night, even though I don't think I really need them because I didn't write down that much. Let me tell you what it's about in case you didn't see the TBR video. I didn't really know when I got into this because the back of the book just says kidnapping, car theft, murder, vampires, true love. Carrie's got a tough night ahead of her. So I was like, okay. My daughter did tell me on camera though that it's about this young lady who gets kidnapped by vampires. At least that's what we thought. But now I know. We are with this young lady named Carrie who is 16 years old. It's going to factor into something I have to say later. She is home and her little brother comes to her and tells her that he left his favorite stuffed animal at the laundromat that they go to. And he's like crying and in tears and like, can you please go get it? It's a 24-hour laundromat. She's like, ugh, fine for you. And she has a learner's permit. She's not supposed to drive by herself, but she's like, all right, it's just down the street. I'll go run and get it. Their dad is asleep. The mom left the family. So she goes to the laundromat and when she gets there, she does find his stuffed animal, but then these folks come rushing in and they have this guy tied up and bloodied and bruised and they lock the door and she's now trapped in the laundromat with these people. She's the only one in there with them. And they tell her that the guy that they have tied up is a vampire. And she's like, this is not the kind of world where vampires are just running rampant and everybody knows about them. It's not that kind of world. She's like, y'all are crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. And they are like abusive to him. They're beating him up some more and everything. And then of course she wants to leave, like they won't let her. And his name is Ethan. So I'm reading this and I'm like, is this the one she's supposed to fall in love with? It took me a minute to get that. But one of the things that I was like, I don't know about this. This is what happens when you read older books. When the guys rush into the laundromat, there's, I think 2 of them, maybe 3. Yeah, there's 3, including the owner of the laundromat. So one of them, the author says that there is only one black man. She didn't describe anybody else's ethnicity, it's just one black man. And then she said it again about him being a black man. And then she called him a big black man. And I was like, all right, now, look here, Vivian. But I was telling my daughter about it and she was like, I don't know that I would DNF it for that. I was like, I'm gonna give it a minute. I'm gonna see if there's any more problematic stuff like that. Because if so, we're gonna be done with this. Luckily, once she left the laundromat, we were done with those guys and there has been no other mention of anybody's ethnicity or any of that. Yeah, he did have, thank you. My daughter just reminded me that he did get a name. I don't think I wrote it down, but she did end up calling him by his name. I don't remember what it was. But, so yeah, after she found out his name, she did call him by his name, no longer the black. What? Roth, maybe? Something like that. How come she remember more than me? We had Sadowski, little thug name. Yeah, Roth. Yeah, so Roth is his name, and she ended up calling him by Roth. So anyway, Carrie is like, why is the laundromat owner here? So like I said, basically they're like, we got to capture this vampire. He's dangerous. And they're going to hold him captive until daylight so she can see. And they are going to film it so they can have proof that there's a vampire. So anyway, long story short, she found a razor blade at the laundromat. Don't ask me why. And she ends up cutting the rope that he's bound with. And they run out and get in the car and escape. And while they're there, though, is when I saw the romance stuff starting to creep in. Because she's like, don't pay attention to him being handsome. Don't be distracted by this. I'm like, he's bloodied and bruised. He's supposed to be handsome. Okay. So he takes her home. She goes to bed, gives her brother his stuffed animal. The next day, she goes to school, goes to work at the grocery store. And she thinks when he drops her off, that's it for Ethan. But when she comes out the grocery store, she bumps into Ethan. She's like, oh my God, what are you doing here? No, she actually doesn't ask him that. I was like, aren't you wondering what he's there for? He could be stalking you, anything. So she is waiting for her dad to pick her up and he doesn't come. He's like an hour or so late. She's like, he's always on time. I wonder what's going on. He's like, I'll take you home. So when they get back to her house, she gets out the car. He drives off. She gets to the door and sees the door is wide open. She thinks somebody broke in. So she goes to flag down Ethan and he stops, comes to the house. He's like, let me come in and check out things. Why is no one calling 911? But I think because this is old, this is like written in 97, I think. I don't know why I'm saying 97. That's just the year I graduated high school. That's what I was thinking of. 95, close enough. So it was written in 95. So cell phones weren't a big thing then. So I guess they would have had to go in the house to call the police. So they go in, her brother and father are nowhere to be found. There is a message written on the wall in red. She thinks it's blood, but then he, I guess, touches it and smells and discovers it's paint. But it's written on the wall, vampire, we have your family. And so she's like, are they talking about me? They think I'm a vampire? Excuse me? So she also notices that Ethan's bruises and stuff are like gone. And then he's like moving around the house a little quickly that she notices. Eventually she ends up saying, you're a vampire, aren't you? And he doesn't answer her. Now, this is where I am with this book. I will say, I was telling my daughter that I am entertained because number one, I just keep wanting to know what's going to happen with her. And I want to know where her brother and her father are. But this is the kind of book, reminds me of when you're watching a horror movie and you're yelling at the people on the screen, like, don't do that, go that way, why are you going, oh my God. That's how this book is. I am so frustrated, I get so frustrated with her. And it reminds me of Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I love books to get me invested, to get me worked up. That's just more entertaining for me. Even when I read Darcy Coates' Voices in the Snow, similar, where I was just kind of like, what is going on? No, you're not. Why are you doing this? I'm more likely to finish a book like that than one that I'm just bored with. So I am entertained. I am not bored. She has one so far, not WONE one. So with this one, this romance thing, I am not getting. I guess this is an enemies to lovers type of trope. I am not here for this because he is rude to her. I looked on Goodreads and saw some of the reviews and people were saying this was like Twilight. And I get it because if you've seen the first Twilight, when you know Edward is so weird and rude and you don't understand why Bella likes him, that's how this is. He is rude. This is before Twilight though. But he's just rude to her. Like she asks him questions. He don't answer her. He just looks at her. And he's called her a little girl. Like I said, that's my other issue with this book. She's 16. We don't know when he became a vampire. I think they're alluding to that it was more recent. Like he's probably supposed to be like 20. He got stuck at like 20, something like that. But she's 16 and he's called her a little girl. That's not cute. That's not hot. Why? He has grabbed her ponytail and yanked her back. Just so many things. Handcuffed her so she can't go anywhere. She also is afraid that he's gonna bite her and turn her into a vampire or kill her. How is this romantic? And it says on the back, true love. To me, true love means it's meant to be. It's written in the stars, whatever you want to believe, in books and stuff and movies. I don't see that. They have no business being together. She has no business liking him. I don't think he likes her. I can't tell if he does. He has a funny way of showing it. I'm just not here for the romance of this, but it's not romantic. So that part I like. There's no pining, none of that stuff that gets on my nerves. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up and come back and tell you my thoughts. And then we will continue on with some of the rest of these books, shall we? All right, I am back a few hours later, a couple hours later. I'm not sure. I'm losing daylight. So when I come back for the try a chapter portion of the video, I will have night lighting and we're gonna see how that works together. But anyway, I have finished Companions of the Night, and right now I'm landing at about a 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. It was nothing spectacular, but clearly I enjoyed it enough to get through it. I'd put it on par with like Voices in the Snow, Survive the Night, the ones that like I enjoyed but I had issues with, and like I said, there we go. I forgot to say earlier that after Carrie helped Ethan escape from the laundromat and the thugs, and they go to her house and, like I said, discover that her brother and her father are missing, and she discovers that he's a vampire. Basically, she's like, I need to find my father and my brother. He tells her that he thinks vampire hunters took her father and brother because they think she's a vampire, hence the message on the wall. Vampire, we have your family. So like I said, he's like, you know, vampire hunters took your family. He's like, I need to go find them. So she's like, excuse me, I'm coming with you. It's my father, my brother. And also you can use me because I can do things you can't do as a vampire, such as go out in the daylight. So there are the usual vampire tropes that are in this, such as, you know, they can't go out in the sun. You have to cut off their head. There are certain things that she also changed in this book where like garlic doesn't really do anything. They do have a reflection. I think a lot of people do away with that reflection stuff. They don't have to feed every day, stuff like that. They can go like a couple days. Oh, he also has like fast healing abilities, that kind of stuff. But the vampire aspect of the story wasn't really that strong. Like I said, it reminded me most of like Survive the Night because it was them going on this trip, this journey to try to find the vampire hunter who took her father and her brother. And it was just like them going on these different places, except Survive the Night was just mostly in the car. But this one was, like I said, them going to different places and checking out stuff and sleeping here and there and, you know, resting up and doing something else the next day. Towards the end, she said in the book that when she initially met him at the laundromat, that was supposed to be like a Friday, I think, or a Thursday. And then this ends up being Saturday, Sunday, I don't know. So it's a couple days that they're on this adventure together. He also is like, you know, okay, if we're gonna stay together, I gotta trust you, you gotta trust me, blah, blah, blah. She's afraid he's gonna kill her. What we ended up with is we find out that the person who took her father and her brother is this professor that Ethan knew when he attended this college. There was this other woman that was involved named Regina, who was a friend of Ethan's, but Carrie thought they were Lavelles. So all three of them, Ethan, Regina, and the professor, were all acquaintances at this college. And Carrie basically met the professor's son named Joe at this college. She seduced him and turned him into a vampire. And now he's like on a mission to try to kill vampires because he's just like, you know, he doesn't want this happening to any other kids, anybody else. So one of the times he was following Regina, Ethan and Carrie show up, and that makes him think that Carrie is a vampire. So he's like, everybody's got to die. So Carrie goes to talk to the professor. Long story short, the professor tells her, you know, you can't trust anything that they tell you. These vampires, they lie. They will do whatever it takes. And that's how they got my son. And we have to kill him because he's going to try to kill you and me. They go back to the professor's house, and this is where Ethan's going to kill him. So anyway, he decides to open the drapes so that Ethan will burn in the sun. But then Carrie's like, I can't do this. I can't do this, because she remembers seeing Regina's burned up body, which I forgot that part. They discovered Regina's dead body at her house, and apparently she had been burned and had her head cut off. So The professor is planning to do the same thing to Ethan because he's the one who did that to Regina. And so she's like, I can't do this. And then she starts thinking back to the times that Ethan tried to protect her on their little journey and quest. And so at the end, basically, she pushes the professor. He falls down the steps, hits his head. He dies. And then Ethan is like, you're going to have to get a gun and kill me because the blinds, drapes are open and the sun is about to burn him to death. And he's like, that's like the worst pain. So he's like, a gunshot would be better. So for some reason or somehow this 16-year-old girl is able to drag him all the way into a closet and close the doors and protect him from the sun. She's protecting him from the sun. Oh my God. So Ethan has to, take a nap because he's exhausted from the sunlight and blah, blah, blah. And then he wakes up and they kiss. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I got irritated. I was like, I'll just read this little part. He caressed her face and she threw her arms around him once again, sobbing into his chest before she remembered his burns and that she was probably hurting him. She pulled away and he leaned to kiss her and she repeated frantically, forcefully, I don't intend to become a vampire. She braced herself for the bite. He hugged her, but without the intensity of before, and he rested his chin on her head as he rocked her slightly, more a comforting movement than anything else. I still could change my mind, she thought, both wanting to and not. And because it was the last thing she wanted to do, she pulled away from him. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, vomit worthy. You know me. It's just more so they have no business together. She's a teenager. She don't even know how old he is. He barely ever told her anything. She can't trust him. She don't know when he's telling the truth, when he's lying. He's been rude. All of a sudden, now she cares. And then he asks her why she saved him. And she says, it's because I realized I love you. Oh my God. I could have threw the book across the room. How you gonna love him? You've been with him for 3 days and you don't know nothing about him. And he's lied and been violent. And I just read, she's like, I'm not going to become a vampire. He's like, that's fine. So basically she's like, what am I supposed to tell the police about all this? And he tells her what to say. You tell the police that Ethan Burns disappeared, never to be seen again. So that's basically, we know he's leaving and she's going to stay, which I was glad about that. Cause like I said, you have no business together. So that's basically how the book ends. They say goodbye to each other. The end. I just feel like they put a lot on this back cover and the description on Goodreads. Kidnapping, car theft, murder, vampires, true love. There was no true love. Like I said, the romance part didn't come into the last few pages and I still was just like, this is not true love, but okay. There was one murder, I guess. I guess you could count Regina as a murder. I don't know. Yeah, there was car thefts. There's the kidnapping, but vampires, plural. It was really just Ethan. Regina was, the most we got was her vampire death of the burning and the head chopped off, but there were no other vampires, so I don't know about these vampires. And even with Ethan, we never got any vampire nature, no vampire-ness. We never saw his fangs. He never drank anyone's blood. He didn't fly. He didn't do anything vampire-like. She asked him if he slept in a coffin. He said no, which again, they usually don't put that in things. But like I said, there was nothing vampire-like about this. Like I said, it was just basically the two of them, a teenager and a young adult, going on this journey to try to get her father and her brother back and find this vampire hunter. So, even this cover, I feel like it makes it look more romancy than what it is. It really wasn't. But like I said, I enjoyed it. As you see, I got through it. The DNF Queen finished this book. Yes, I did. It reminded me of 80s books like R.L. Stine, Christopher Pike, teenager type of stuff. Things I used to enjoy when I was a kid. So like I said, it was like a fun little escapism, guilty pleasure type of book. I thought this was a series. If there was a part 2, don't tell my daughter, but I would have read it. I heard that. If there was a second book, I would have read it. If it had ended with them two, seeing what else was going to happen between them, I would have been intrigued. I would have read it. Yes, I said it. So there you have it. Companions of the Night. Like I said, probably going to end on 3 stars. Right now, I have to take a break and go and run and get some food for my cats. I also took a break earlier and ate, but I was reading while I ate, which I never do. But when I come back, we will probably have nighttime lighting and I will figure it out. Be my first time recording at night with this ring light and whatnot. But I will be doing the try a chapter with these 3 books, which I'm looking forward to because I can't wait to see what I'm getting into. And so we'll come back in a little bit and get into one of these books. Okay, I am back. It is officially dark 30. This is my first time filming at night. Welcome to a nighttime vlog. Yeah, so as I already said, finished Companions of the Night. And now I'm about to try some chapters, get into these books. I don't know which one to do first. So as I said, you know, we got the Earth Sea, Hell Divers, and A Flicker in the Dark. I feel like because it's nighttime now, I want to save Hell Divers and Flicker in the Dark. It's getting a little more cozy, comfy cozy. You may hear my dishwasher going. Any other things? Look, it's real life. We here chilling. So it's a Sunday night. This is what we doing. My cat Wheezy's over here. Let me see. Let me let you see him. Can I get you in there? Say hi. Wheezy, say hi. He cannot be bothered. Okay, I don't even know if that was worth anything. You probably will end up editing that out. But anyway. So yeah, I'm going to start with A Wizard of Earthsea. Because like I said, it's earlier and this is, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm becoming a more of a mood reader. And again, Hell Divers, horror, sci-fi. So that's definitely more for nighttime, comfy, cozy. And A Flicker in the Dark. It says dark in the title. So that's what I'm thinking we getting. So this first chapter, there is no prologue. But I already see we have a large map. Oh, Lord, look at that. Look at that. I'm concerned. There's a lot of places on here. I don't have a good feeling about this. The first chapter is, I think I saw 16 pages. You know, the margins are big too. So anyway, I will get into this and come back and tell you my thoughts. Wish me luck. Okay, I am back. I had to get a beverage. Got me some Chianti here. It's nighttime. So yeah. We finished the first chapter of Wizard of Earthsea barely. I am sorry to say this is not my cup of tea. My daughter is not happy about that, but I said to her, you knew when you picked this book, this is not my normal thing. And I know her whole thing was I'm supposed to step out of my comfort zone, but I also still want to enjoy what I'm reading. And this was like, reminded me of being in school. Like I was like, God, how many more pages do I have left? I just don't do well with books that have a lot of complicated names. I have looked at previews of other fantasy books and not read them for that reason. Because for me, I will spend so much time trying to get the pronunciations right in my head that it will slow me down, and or I'll just skip over them because I don't know how to pronounce them. I will give you a taste of a part that had a bunch of names that I was like, what? In those days, the Kargad Empire was strong. Those are 4 great lands that lie between the northern and the eastern reaches. Korego At, Atuan, Hurat At, Hur, Atnini. The tongue they speak there is not like any spoken in the archipelago or other reaches. And they are a savage people, white-skinned, yellow-haired, and fierce, liking the sight of blood and the smell of burning towns. Yeah, just, I'm sorry. It's an old classic book. It's just not my kind of thing, not my kind of writing, not my kind of story. I was just skimming over stuff too because I just didn't care. I just wanted to get through the chapter. What I can tell you is that we were following a boy named, he got like 3 different names through the course of this, Gaunt. But then he also gets called Sparrowhawk. And at the end of the first chapter, he is given a name, Ged. But Gaunt is a boy who figures out that he has powers, magical abilities. These people come to his village. The Kargs is what they're called. That's what I can tell you. The Karg, they're mean people. And they come to his village to tear things up. And he uses some spell to create this mist that I guess when they go into the mist, they become like disoriented or whatever, and they turn on each other and they try to kill each other instead of his village people. And then his people can go in and kill them, I guess, I think. And then after that, he's like spent because he used all his energy to create that spell. And so then these witches, I think some witches come and they heal him or get him back to his normal self. And then that's when, like I said, it says, then he set off with his new master through the steep, slanting forest of the mountain isle, through the leaves and shadows of bright autumn. And so, yeah, I don't. God, look, I told my daughter, if it wasn't for you, first of all, I wouldn't have picked this book up. So I am glad I tried it. And I know this Yes, I am. And I know this is not my thing. Oh, yeah. You see the hair is pulled back because I got hot. So anyway, I now know this is not my kind of thing. Sorry, my dishwasher. But like I said, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't even have read a whole chapter, 16 pages. I only did that for her. I would have read like 2 or 3 and be like, nope, we're done here. So I tried. I did more than I normally do. So because I won't be finishing this, I have to find a book to replace it. You'll have to stay tuned to find out what that is because I don't even know yet. But let's move on to Helldivers. Now, I'm excited because, again, horror, sci-fi. This is out of my comfort zone. I would never pick a book like this based off of the name and any of it. So we'll see. This is a long first chapter, too. I don't think there's a prologue, but the first chapter, I think, is like 20-something pages. 25 pages. So sorry I'm not giving synopsis. I don't really remember what these were about. Let's just read the first chapter and see what I get from that. We'll come back. Okay, chapter 1 of Helldivers done. Look at this smile. I'm enjoying it. So first chapter, we meet this team. They are called, what was their team called? Their team is called Raptor. We're mainly following a guy named X. Don't know what his real name is, but that's what he's going by. And it starts off telling us that usually divers only have 15 turns to dive. 15 jumps, excuse me. And his name is Xavier Rodriguez, and this is his 96th jump, and they're normally supposed to only have 15. I had to go back and read the synopsis. So basically, this is supposed to be after fictional World War III. The Earth is ravaged, and the people who are remaining left on Earth are in these airships, but it's been so long, the airships are starting to fade. So they have these team of divers, Helldivers, who go down to Earth to scavenge for parts to fix these ships so they can stay up in the air, in space. This is what I was looking for with Dead Silence. Like, we just meet like 4 people, but I'm already connected to all of them. We have already lost 2 divers, and one of them I was like, oh man, because he had a child and he told Xavier to promise him that he's going to look after him, and he heard him die, and I was just like, oh, I felt for him. So I'm already invested, looking for what? So I'm already invested, already looking forward to more. It was not 20-something pages. For some reason, this book counted every page up until the first page. Like, even this blank page, can't see that, but even that counts as a page. So actually, the first page started on page 11, not 1. So it was only like 15 pages in the first chapter, because chapter 2 starts on page 26. So I read like 15 pages. So like I said, looking forward to more of this. Not a DNF. We're good to go. So I am going to go feed my babies, my cats, and we have one more book to go, which is A Flicker in the Dark. The first chapter of this one is only like 8 pages. There is a prologue, which I generally don't like. Ugh, who likes prologues? Let me know. I generally don't. The first page starts on page 5, not 1. So for a 3 page, so 3 pages pretty much for the first chapter. So anyway, I'm going to read that. I don't think I'm going to read more. Well, maybe 2 chapters. We'll see. I'm going to go feed my babies and then come back, and I'll just come back and let you know what I think once I already start this one. Either I'll read a chapter or 2. You'll have to see. So I'll be back in a minute. All right. I am back, and I did read 2 chapters of A Flicker in the Dark because first chapter was a flashback. Starts off with, after the prologue, May 2019, but the first chapter starts off with our main character Chloe in therapy, and it seems like she's a little girl. Okay, correction. I'm coming back because I was explaining this to my daughter and I realized I told you wrong. The first chapter is from Chloe's perspective. That just goes to show you I was confused. But she was working with this client named Lacey, and I was like, who is this girl? Why am I supposed to care about her? And Lacey's thing is that her dad left her when she was 15. And Chloe's like, I know what that feels like. My father left when my brother was 15. And then that's the end of that chapter. And we go on to, like I said, chapter 2 where... Yeah. And then the next chapter, we fast forward to her as an adult where she is now a psychiatrist and just getting to know her, what's going on with her life. At the end of chapter 2, a reporter calls her from the New York Times, I believe, and he wants to do an interview about her father because he says it's been 20 years and we're not supposed to know, but of course I read the synopsis, so we do know. It's been 20 years since her father, I guess, went to jail, and she's just like, yeah, we know, he's in prison, those girls are dead, what else do you want to know? So now we know her father's a murderer. And that's where chapter 2 left off. I am intrigued, I will say. Chapter 1, I was kind of like, okay, I don't understand. In case I didn't say you don't know, this book is about a young woman named Chloe whose father goes to prison for murdering some teenage girls. And as I said, it's 20 years later. Some murders start up again and she doesn't know if this is a copycat or what. That's all I know. So like I said, just getting into the meat and potatoes. I am intrigued. We have another winner. 2 winners. Thought my daughter was gonna have a comment. Anyway, so yeah, I am good to go. Now I gotta figure out which one I'm gonna read next. I think Hell Divers, because I feel like I'm more likely to forget where I was with this one if I wait till like a week and try to go back to this. Not much has happened in this one, so I think I can come back to this in a week and I'll be good to go. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna continue with Hell Divers and read that this week and then Flicker in the Dark next week. And you will have to stay tuned to my wrap up to find out how it goes. Of course, I post things in my Instagram story here and there. And we already know. Yes. I'm going to pass this on to my daughter though so she can see if she likes it, because it ain't for me. So yeah, I told her, look, you got 3 out of 4 books. That's better than me. In March, I only finished 2 books. And in February, I only read 1. So, like I said, she did better than me. But like I said, stay tuned for my April wrap up to see how things actually go. And that is all for this vlog, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to go relax, have some dinner, and enjoy the rest of my little bit of evening. Like I said, Sunday, work tomorrow, all that good stuff. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments below, whatever you want to talk about, any of these books. I am so sorry about the Wizard of Earthsea. I know it's beloved, it's just not for me. You know, classics aren't for everybody. It's not for me. But you can let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it or whatever. If you have anything to say about any of these books, spoiler free, of course. And if you don't have anything to say about any of these books, you can leave me a glass of wine emoji, since that's how we're ending this. And yeah, that's it. So until next time, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book, unplug as much as possible, be kind to all kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.